I would say 15 years of working in the mining industry, I was like, no, this is not my purpose. And also, I wanted to be a doctor. I was so scared of blood and working on dead people for my training. So, and I said, okay. But what I love now with coaching is that being the transformation coach and the mind doctor, I work
Mm.
with the mind, how to reprogram your mind in terms of your subconscious mind. So it has been a great journey. And then I also quit my job after working for 22 years in the mining industry to say now I want to help people. Because even myself, I remember when I was 30, I was working for one of the mining house and I just felt so frustrated. And I regard that year as a time where I had the meltdown, I felt like everything was stopping. And I even went to do assessment. I'm like, am I in the right career for being an engineer?
Mm.
And I found out no, but I'm an analytical person, so I had to go and study, maybe do something in HR. But that time I had challenges because I had a son, we had a bond to pay. There wasn't time to go back to school and study, so I just carried on with engineering. But when 2019, before we had our pandemic, something said you
Mm.
need to start working on this. Then I enrolled to be a coach. But all my life, people said I've been coaching them and all that. So I became a coach. It was quite a transformational time for me. Then the following year, I enrolled to be a master coach. And there have been so many things I've been doing. Also, I'm a credit repair coach. I'm an accredited facilitator, a neurolinguistic practitioner.
Mm.
So I'm just glad that now the beauty I always say is it wasn't a mistake that I went to engineering because it has helped me also because there are tools that you can learn in engineering that you can apply in transformation coach because
Mm.
I work holistically with you as well as a person. And I had to understand where I've been and most if you go to the mining industry, there's so much happening as well as much as happening in corporate, how people working
Mm.
with different communities and all that. So I'm in my place, I'm in my element. I'm so grateful that I can transform people's lives. But I know
Mm.
even when I just work with one individual, it's their families, their companies, their business, which is going to transform. Because as a leader, if you come to me, because you have to lead the way and people look at you, you can complain as much about your family, your bosses, your employees, but
Mm.
if I work with you, I know there is that fundamental change that is going to happen to that individual. So I'm in my place. I'm enjoying
Love
working
it.
with as much
Mm.
as it's taxing because people are going through the most, and this is a perfect time
Mm. Mm.
to rise up and help people and make coaching fashionable because people, even when I turned late, I was scared to go to a psychologist. I said they're going to give me medication and all this,
Mm.
and it's not that. You have to
Mm.
be diagnosed to get medication. I don't
Yeah.
do diagnosis for
Mm.
medication
Mm.
either, though.
Mm. And you know, yeah, I love the fact that you're saying that, Mashudu, because sometimes, yes, you need the diagnosis, you need, to get medication, but sometimes it's really just a conversation that one needs to
Yes.
have outside their circle, outside their family, but to have a coach, literally saying that
Yes.
no, you can actually move from this position to the next position. You don't have to feel as if you're stuck here. You don't have to feel that this is it for your life, but you can transition, you can move forward, and you can thrive and live a fulfilled life. And that is your voice. That is what you bring to the next person's life, I suppose. What is it that you enjoy most about coaching?
I enjoy the conversation because one might say there are a lot of coaches out there, but I know those who come to me mostly you find that they've been through similar things that I've been. So the fact that I'll be compassionate, that I'll be able to listen and feel their pain and be there. And even with one, I always say if within a first session you don't feel better, you need to fire me. And they always laugh
That's funny.
because that is Yes, you need to have even that 1 degree change. You shouldn't
Mm.
come to me by the time we live in an hour. You are still the same. It means I was not doing my role. I was not doing my job. So it's that change that people, because what I've seen with my clients, they are changing, their language changes as well. Because the work that I do is to increase your consciousness, how you look at yourself, moving from doubt, self pity to feeling like you're this amazing god or goddess or king or queen, because that is what we are. We are amazing beings with so much talent, hidden talents and gifts. So when I start, and then when I know the first 2 sessions that I have, they normally hate me because it's where we drill to the issue. And then after this, I say, oh, I understand now why I was thinking I was tricking myself. So I'm responsible for these issues. And the other thing that makes me excited is to hear a person say, I am part of the problem and I'm ready. I accept myself. I'm like, oh, I've done my coaching. All
Mm.
you have to do is to understand that you're the part of the issue. That is why you came and you become, because if you don't have that acceptance of say, I'm ready, I surrender and let go, becomes an issue. So when I hear that and there's that change and one will give me an update and say, oh, I went to that interview, like I had, this one is I think it's even now I still can't believe it. It was amazing. We met a week and then a week the person didn't come. Third week, all the things that the person was complaining about, it's like they're gone. Says I got an interview. I'm doing this,
Oh,
and we're like,
wow.
are you sure it's for real? Says I can't believe it. I remember even when I came to you, I never thought I'll ever get to this stage where opportunities are happening.
Wow.
Opportunity, I can think differently. It's so
Mm.
amazing. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe. I was even pinching myself. I'm like, yes, I'm happy,
Mhm.
and just to see the joy and the celebration in within.
Mm, I love that so much. Why would you, encourage someone to find a coach or to find a mentor, someone that they're gonna walk a journey with?
So I'll also relate it back to what I've been. So with the work I do, all of us from the 6 weeks we are conceived, so one can also research that
Mm,
because we've got the conscious and the subconscious mind. So we go through a lot of trauma
mm,
from the time we're in our mother's womb.
mm,
And normally our first 7 years, the formative of our lives, uh, they create who we are at an adult age because you go through trauma, you go through sadness patterns, your mom is going through the most. And eventually, when you grow up, you start having that because that has been created as you. So that is why it's important when you look at child, you've got so much to do the first formative of their years of
mm,
creating their conditioning, love, healing trauma, past traumas, and all that. I can just make an example for myself, which I learned later why I did all these things that I was doing. Like for me, I was rejected from the time I was conceived, and that
mm,
and all my life I used to feel rejected. So I carried that negative emotion within my system, within my neurons within the system. So if one can research more about neurology, they could understand that better. So I carried that, and my mom was young then, and she went through a lot of fear because even my father rejected me. And then when a person is going through a lot of fear, they normally release what is called cortisol, which normally will impact a child's respiratory system, which for me happened. So I grew up having asthma and bronchitis and all that. But
mm,
then now I'm able to manage that. So all of us, most of us were going through a lot of trauma, even from that young age. So when a mom is pregnant, her mental health and psychology is quite critical for the child as well. And what happens during, and nowadays there are child-led families,
mm,
um, women are staying by themselves because each parent has got a critical role to play to
mm,
a child. So the father is all about cheering the child, protecting. The mother is all about nurturing and loving because you are there in that tummy for 9 months and you
yeah.
feel that attachment. Even if your mom is not perfect, but there's always that love, but that impacts you. Even if your parents were there physically, if they were not there emotionally,
Mm.
available becomes an issue, which is what I had, which has drawn me to coaching because my line is to work people who have got issues with mother wounds. Mother wounds is where the parent was not emotionally available or they are caregiver, and father wound where
Mm.
their father wasn't. Because my father died when I was 3, when there was that commotion. I didn't know
Mm.
even in the 1978 they can do DNA tests, which they were done to confirm I was his child.
Mm.
So I went through that and laughed. So since my mom went through a lot of trauma and even with giving birth to me, that impacted on how she shows me how she loves me. It's only now in my when I turned in my 40s we started healing. She was
Mm.
there physically but not emotionally there. I was raised by my grandma in the same house.
Mm.
Then I had to learn and start the forgiveness work and rewiring of my mind and understanding and looking at things that have happened in my adult life, my work life, and when, oh, this contributes to this. That is why I was this. And also with the relationships that I had before I got married, like I would date someone only looking for a father
Sure.
because when the next person they just act up, they don't do this, the young child in me, because we've got all the young child in us, will
Mm.
just act up because it's something that is programmed within their mind. I'm
Mm.
waiting for someone to save me, and without knowing that the other person have got their own issues, they went through their own different backgrounds,
Mm.
they don't read my mind. And I wasn't someone who could communicate because in our era you couldn't go and complain to your parents. So these are the skills that one has to be taught:
Mm.
communication, conflict, and also realizing that we are all different human beings. We've got, if one does their personality profile, there's of almost 16 personality profiles, and you cannot expect the other person to understand you because they were never there during the formative years of your life. But
Mm.
what you can do is to explain to them what you have been through. Because also we see a lot that is happening in terms of relationships, because relationships are, I call them our personal development. They show you your shadows or your or things that you are not aware of, which could have been blocked by your mind,
Yeah.
by your subconscious mind without you being aware, because your mind is very powerful. So when you're not ready to deal with something, it numbs it, and then when you get older, you meet people who are gonna trigger you for you to heal, to love yourself,
Mm.
for you to prioritize yourself, for you to be amazing, to believe in yourself, to heal and show up. Because once you have healed, it's easier to develop that compassion. It's easier to develop that love
Mm.
because we are wounded, even with electricity. So now we're going to stage 16. So that is a trauma on its own, which is compounding to
Mm.
other traumas that we've
It
been.
is.
And trauma is not something that, it's not like if you have been in an accident, but if you hear that someone has been involved in a trauma because you went through trauma yourself. Like even when the mother gives birth, if it's cesarean, I did 2 cesareans, so my kids have got a bit of trauma on its own because it's that thing that is inflicted in your body. So it just
Mm.
accumulates, and one has to do trauma therapy by just hearing because it just triggers those neurons within neural paths within you. So that is critical. And if we look, I use Apple gadgets. If we look at our gadgets on a daily basis, they are upgrading. And we, as the human beings, we've got this powerful mind that when we are scared to go and upgrade because we cannot work in the same
Mind.
program like
Yeah.
we did when we were 1 year old, and we
Mm.
expect others. And normally, the people who are in trouble is those the partners, the couple, the family, because
Mm.
you just say I'm like this, and it's not like that. We
Mm.
have to upgrade because on a daily basis, if you think of a snake sheds skin on a daily
Mm.
frequently. We need to do that because we're human beings. How we do that because of what we listen to, what we hear, what we read. Every day we're changing how we are. So daily yourself and other people. they attend your funeral without you knowing because the other person is dying slowly. That's why even when people have been married for 20 years, they say, we have grown apart. I don't know that person because that person has had so many influences, even yourself. You've gone through so many. That's why you have to continue finding people to help you to navigate, give you the skills. And I also see on social media, on newspaper, here on radio, that there are skills like marketing, sales that were never taught in school. Also, the skills of being looking at your emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
your physical health, your spiritual health. At times, we just look at the body, but your mind, body, and spirit, and
Yeah.
those cannot be aligned. And if there's a misalignment in your life, one has to look at that. Because if also you look at your spirituality is that foundation that you need to have, whatever you define as spirituality, because all of us were different, is that foundation. But with that foundation, you also need to look at your mind. That is where we come in as coaches, help you to rewire, to unlearn and increase your consciousness, and also looking at your emotional health, healing, forgiveness, because most of the things that we need to start doing is to forgive ourselves
Yeah.
and forgive others, forgive ourselves for the negative thoughts that we have, which create our reality on a constant basis. To those who are listening, I just want to give you a task of saying, last week, what were you thinking about? And look at this week as a starting. Are you getting what you're spending your mind on, your time on? Because we create our reality on a daily basis with our thoughts.
Sure.
And that is where coaches come in and help you to think differently. And there's so many modalities that we use as well. So every day, and also you might say, I'm unhappy. And it also comes back, I love this one, it comes back to the love language. When I first heard about love language, I thought, no, someone needs to do that. If it's acts of service, this person has to buy me flowers and all that. And it's not about you saying I love flowers. So buy them so that those who surround you can buy them. Because we teach people how to treat us.
Sure.
And it's something which is a bit challenging to comprehend because it's something which is a norm, which society has made it a norm. So it's important that you look at yourself. I nowadays I also get couples that say, no, my partner is doing this and this. I'm like, yes, I can work with you, but I have to work with you individually to start rewiring you. It's like looking, if we look at a dirty cupboard in the kitchen, which is just mixed up, and you're the only one in the house, you need to fix it. So
Yeah.
the dirty cupboard represents your thought patterns, represents your traumas, everything that you've been through, and your parent, your mom, and I'll say your parent, everyone was there when mommy was pregnant. So we need to unpack that. After we unpack that, we repack. Repack is doing all the modalities, is coaching, therapy, and and it could be meditation, journaling, and writing letters. So that is what you need, that because daily people are, they smile. There was a time where I was in deep depression and I made it normal. Many people are just wearing makeup and
Sure.
they're so sad inside. It's time to remove the mask. Now is a coaching. There's so many coaches. You just need to find the one you
Fine.
resonate
Yeah.
with, the one you connect with. Because we are there. We said we're gonna sit there and listen to you for that moment and forget everything else
Ah.
and feel
Wow.
your pain and make you feel better. Because when you feel better, when your life changes, when you progress, I know I've done my job.
There's growth and development in your life. Oh man, Mashudu, I wish we could just have a conversation with you for the rest of the afternoon, but unfortunately we can't. We've come to the end of the show, and would really like for you to give us your contact details, social media. How can people reach you if perhaps they're thinking, man, I think Mashudu is the right coach for me? Where can they reach you? And
Okay.
how can they, yeah, get connected with you?
Okay. You can send me a WhatsApp on 060 508 6165, and I'm available on YouTube as well. It's Mashudu Mbhele, and also on Facebook. I am transformation coach Mashudu, and where else? And on Instagram, I'm also transformation coach Mashudu, and also my business Enabler Solutions. It's available as it's Enabler Solutions both on Instagram and Facebook. So you can follow me there. Also on TikTok, I am Mashudu Mbhele. So I do post
Lovely.
there
Yes.
as
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Blessings, blessings, and more blessings to you. I love your calm, beautiful voice. It just makes me want to hear more. But Bashudu Siabonga, thank you so much for serving your community in this manner and for finding this path for yourself. May you heal many more people, and may you extend your territory in the work that you do. May God bless the work of your hands. Siabonga kakhulu. Blessings to you.
Nyabonga. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessings. Bye bye. Bye. Oh, family Mashudu. We can speak to her forever and ever. But unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. And so long. We're going to be joined now by